My name is Ray Curci, and this is a new episode of We Talk. Today, what we're going to be doing is Behind Achieve Part 2, going over episodes 6 through 10. What I kind of want to do for this before we get started is I want to do this at the last Thursday of every month. I did it the last Thursday of January, today being the last Thursday of February, so I figured, we'll probably do the Behind Achieves on those days. So, let's get started here. So, episode 6 was Last Man Grinning, which was in Halo 4. The objective was to get 4 kills using a saw without dying in the Majestic DLC matchmaking. Now, this was actually a lot, it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, but it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. I think it was I was right down the middle. I actually thought it was going to be 2 parts. While I was filming the video, I actually thought it was going to be two-parter. There is a part in the video where I see the saw right before the match ends, and that was actually going to be the end of part 1. But as I was editing the video, I realized, well, there's no possible way this is ever going to be a 2-parter, and it ended up being a 1-parter. This was actually filmed right after I thrusted thee. Now, if you guys remember the last time we did Behind Achieve, when I talked about I thrusted thee, I said that there were several achievements that I got in Halo 4. 2 of them are never going to come out. I don't even have them anymore. Otherwise, I would release them. Last Man Grinning was one of the achievements that I had actually filmed right after I did I Thrusted Thee. I Thrusted Thee was the first one I did, so it was obviously the first one I got out. Last Man Grinning was one that I did a little bit later, but at the same time. I think it was done in the same day. If it wasn't the same day, it was within a couple of days. But they were all pretty much done. Bam, 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 bam. This was the actual video that featured the graphics, the text graphics rather. I said in the last Behind Achieve that it was episode 5, which was Far Cry 3 Island Liberator, that was the last one that featured the text graphics, but that's actually not the case. In actuality, this one was the last one to use text, because I was watching it earlier just to see if I could remember some of the cool things about the video. And I noticed that they had graphics, so, I was kind of lazy with it. I'm going to go ahead and explain why I took the graphics off. It was actually because of the next episode, episodes 7 and 8, were the reasons why I don't do text anymore. But there's also another underlining meaning to it, or underlining reason to it. A cool thing about this video is that there's actually a fail in the video that I actually had sent into Rooster Teeth, and it was actually featured on the Fails of the Week, number 168. Now, in this fail, I actually saw one of those sticky detonator things on the ground, and I shot it, killing several people in the process. Now, what the video in Fails of the Week doesn't show, and neither what my video would show either, is that the enemy team was actually around the corner. There was only one surviving player from that whole ordeal. I think it took out 2 or 3 people. It took out the shields of one of the other guys, and then he got killed from a team. I also, that we were actually guarding our flag, and then the other team came around, took the flag, and actually scored with it. That was one of the most, craziest things I've ever done. But it was also, I don't know if you noticed, if you actually watch back the video, I don't know if the Rooster Teeth video shows it or not, but in my video, I actually don't get credited with a betrayal. Another teammate gets credited for the betrayal, and the person who got credited for the betrayal was the person who actually put the sticky detonator on the ground. When I shot it, it detonated it, which caused me to die. It caused other people to die. So he actually got the betrayal, and I didn't, which was actually kind of amazing to me. Episodes 7 and 8 was actually Mile High Club, and in this one, there's actually, when you beat the game, you get a little bonus level at the end. You actually have to beat that level on Veteran. The name of the level was Mile High Club, and it's actually, you're in a plane, you have 1 minute to save the VIP. But on Veteran, man, that is so hard, and it actually, over the course of 3 days, took me about 7 hours to beat it. And it was actually, the game was Modern Warfare, or actually Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. That was actually the first retail game I had ever 100%ed. I built it up that way when I actually did the video. I actually played through the game, got all the achievements in it, so that this one would be the last one, because I heard things about it. I heard it's one of the most difficult achievements ever, and I wanted this one to be an episode of Achieve, and actually be a game that I first 100%ed it. So not only did I beat one of the world's most hardest achievements, but I actually also 100% in my first game. Now, I also 100% in Minecraft and The Walking Dead, Telltale's Walking Dead, as well as Brothers, but those didn't start as a retail game. I don't know if Brothers does have a retail. I think Minecraft does, and I know for a fact The Walking Dead Season 1 does, but they didn't start that way. They were all arcade or downloadable titles. I knew while I was filming it that it was actually going to be a two-parter, and because it was so long, and the reason why Achieves are edited this way is because of achievement hunts like Mile High Club that takes me over 7 hours to get it. I'm not going to obviously release like 7 hours of footage. I'm just going to be simply playing the game and then editing it down to maybe 5 or 6 minute pieces here and there. But I knew while I was filming it was going to be two-parters. But the reason why, and like I said before, the reason why I don't use text graphics anymore is actually because of this. There were so many edits I had to do. Because I had to go through all the 7 hours of footage, the reason why I don't do text anymore is because it would have taken me so much more longer to go and put text graphics into this game. It kind of delays the process of an already lengthy process. I got to film it, I got to sort through all that time to film it, and then I also got to cut it down. So it's very time consuming, and it's even more time consuming for the text graphics. So I just don't do them anymore, and it's because of Mile High Club. But Mile High Club is definitely the series. I actually like how, while I was playing it, I actually thought, and I say this in the video, that it was actually going to be very easy for me, and that it would take me a couple of tries and the video wouldn't be good. Like, I knew I would get maybe one out of it, but the longer I did it and the longer I realized like how hard this really is, the more I realized, yeah, it's going to be a two-part video. And I actually like the progression of me starting it, being all like fine and dandy, and then just quickly descending into madness. It's insane, and I love it. Episode 9 was actually The Invisible Man, and this one was playing Splinter Cell Double Agent, and I actually have to beat a level without being detected by the enemy. This one was pretty easy. In fact, it was so easy that I wasn't comfortable putting it out. Like, I didn't think it was good enough. It was supposed to come out on August 20th, which was going to be the release date of Splinter Cell Blacklist, which was the newest Splinter Cell game that had come out last year. But I didn't think it was good enough, and I actually delayed it, and I put Mile High Club Part 1 in its place. After I put up Mile High Club, I actually started editing it just to see how well it looked, and it actually turned out pretty good. Like, I actually would feel comfortable putting it out, and I started kicking myself like, oh man, I shouldn't have assumed it was bad. It would have been perfect if I put it out on that day. But because I put out Mile High Club Part 1, I wasn't going to put out another video, and I wasn't going to put out Part 1 and not put Part 2 the week after. So I had to wait for Part 2 to come out, and then The Invisible Man came out. But it really was one of those moments where I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't assume anymore. I should definitely just maybe look at the footage before I make the assumption that it's good or not. Episode 10 was actually another Splinter Cell game, which actually to me at first was kind of weird that I put two Splinter Cell games back to back, but it was Splinter Cell Blacklist Lethal Versatility. And the goal for this is to actually play the game in multiplayer and beat all the levels, or beat all the multiplayer modes and win them. Now, this is actually the most watched Achieve episode, and currently, the last time I checked, it is at 267 views, which to me is amazing. It was actually also the longest Achieve episode at that time. While I was editing it, there were a lot of funny parts. I like to cut them down to about 5 or 4 minutes, but then I started, it was 6 minutes, and then it was 7 minutes, and I was like, well, I can definitely cut out some stuff, but there is some stuff that I don't really feel comfortable cutting out, because as a person that likes to put out content, I don't like putting out stuff that could have been funny, but because I want to keep it to a small number, I don't put it out. So it really, to me, is like one of those moments where it doesn't matter how long the video is. If it's funny, people are going to enjoy it, put it out. And that's why I don't really care about the length of the videos anymore. I mean, if it gets to a certain length, then I'll do a two-parter, but a lot of my videos recently have been actually pushing the limit of even 6 minutes. It's actually getting closer to upwards of 7 minutes, but this one actually almost became a two-parter because it was so long, but I didn't really want it to be a two-parter because Mile High Club was so close to it, which was also a two-parter. I didn't want to put two-parters back-to-back, so I did kind of shave it down, and I also didn't really think that it was going to end up being a two-parter anyway, because it was 7 minutes long, and you cut that in half, that's 3 minutes and 4 minutes, and I don't really like my videos having lower than 4 minutes, so I ended up squeezing it into about 6 minutes, which actually ended up becoming one of my more best Achieve episodes, because it is the most watched, and I really like that. Seeing that people like my stuff is definitely good for me. It drives me to do more, And Lethal Versatility is definitely one of my more favorite episodes because of the fact that it was so well received. But Mile High Club, also one of my more favorite episodes. So that's it for episodes 6 through 10. Next month, we'll be doing episodes 11 through 15. And I'm going to pull up my list here real quick. Alright, here it is. This is episode 11 was Injustice Beginner's Luck. Episode 12 was Saints Row 4 Epic Jump Quest. Episode 13 was Dead Rising 2 Zombie Slaughter. Episode 14 was State of Decay Get Out of My Dreams. And episode 15 was The Walking Dead Survival Instinct Their People 2. And those are going to be the 5 episodes that we do next month, which would be the last Thursday of March. So thank you guys for watching this episode, and I will see you for the next one.